I have Yvette Stables with me tonight, I say, because she is in New Zealand, and that turns out it's 13 hours ahead of my time. She's in tomorrow. She is a beautiful, clear, bright psychic healer. And she recently did a couple of lovely things for me. She gave me a past life reading, and I asked her if she could just hone in on something before this planet, because I know my origin is quite an interesting place. And she found something very gorgeous for me, which was about me working with the sea here a long time ago. And I really enjoyed that. But she was also very generous a month or so ago and did a small reading just of my general person. And it really moved me. It was accurate, but it was also wonderful to kind of hear it back. And of course, I liked her because of that, but not just vanity. I really enjoyed meeting her recently and experiencing her clarity. I've had a lot of ups and downs of late, lots of crazy etheric energy being kind of thrown at me. And she really helped me just come to that beautiful, peaceful place of grace again, because I was just feeling smashed up, I must say. And sometimes it's tricky to work it out. Usually I find a solution. Sometimes it's lovely to be able to turn to somebody who is also understanding and on that wavelength. So hopefully we're going to find out a little bit more about her. And the topic of today, for her it's the morning, is about communicating with essences, with beings. So yes, humans and past lives and things like that, but animals and plants and crystals and stones, minerals, the air, the water, the earth, the sun. So we'll see what we manage to cover. I'm delighted that she's going to be here any moment, and let's see where we go. There you are. Hello.
Go down there. Ah,
Yay!
hey, done it. Okay. Wait, that's okay.
Oh,
Fantastic. Good morning.
beautiful. Good morning. Good morning. I made a mistake with the time, just because I think my mind can't fathom the distance of time between us. And at 10:30 I just had the most extraordinary experience.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I was thinking, wow, because I was just full of bliss. I called in my full soul, but normally I don't get that full bliss. That's usually only the experience I've had with my beloved. And then I started crying and wondered whether something had happened to him. So I was just completely, moved into zones that I don't generally go. I mean, we play in all these kind of realms, don't we? But it was like the surprise of massive experience. So that's why I'm here tonight at 10:30 and 11:30.
Oh, okay. So I'm 10:30 here and you're 11:30 there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I'm with you. I'm a hour later, but during the daytime.
Yeah,
That's how I remember I'm with you. So for me to remember what time it's, you're an hour forward of me, but in nighttime. So
yeah.
it's easy to remember. I don't calculate one, two, three. Oh no, I can't do that.
No, no, no.
Okay.
It's nice to do chunks, isn't it? How is your morning? How are you?
Busy. Yeah, good. Thank you. I was absolutely organising my bedroom and my table where I work from. So yeah, it gets a bit dusty.
Yeah, it's nice
And
to keep things clean sometimes, isn't
yes,
it?
yes, yes. So I've
Yeah.
had a good clean and a good so I can write without dust. Fairies, bless them.
Yes, and also it's the scent. I realize if I work with scent in front of my computer, a beautiful natural one, it keeps some nasties away from me and it just
Yes,
in that lovely space. So yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. How I wonder whether you might want to start by telling us a little bit about how you got to be as you are now. Like maybe you were an unusual child. Were you an unusual child?
No, 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 no. I was very much a loner.
You were
always, always wanted to be by myself. So, um, I didn't have anything fantastical happen or anything. Things started happening with me when I was about 16. So that's that change of life when I started, started my monthly. But and then I started having prophetic dreams, prophet dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, in colour. So that's when it actually happened with me. I didn't have any imaginary friends. I didn't see anything. I didn't see the ghosties. I didn't see little fairies. But that's how it started. I actually it was a change of the body, and it went from there. It developed from there.
That's interesting, isn't it? Like the capacitor, you had to get to a certain place, body chemistry and structure to be able to receive. I find that too, though, these stages, aren't there, where more of your spirit can.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, some people don't even dream in color. And so I like the fact that you said, these full dreams in color. Did that feel, how did that feel? Was it kind of exciting, unusual? Were you understood by others?
It was interesting because none of my family were even sort of that way inclined. So I just kind of went with the flow. I didn't really have anyone to talk to about it. It was kind of like I was told by someone when I had a little reading, and they said to me, what's happened is that it's actually jumped a generation. So it's gone from there, right, it skipped and then come right to me. So there was no one I could sort of commune with about what was happening.
Did you write down dreams? Did you keep a sort of private expression system going so you could kind of manage it?
I'm not very good with journals. I know. I should have been doing that all along through my whole life because I've had so many different experiences, and it would have made for good reading, but I'm a little bit lax in that area, I must admit.
Well, I'm sure you could, if you wanted to, you could always just go under hypnotherapy and just speak it all out, and then put that through a dictaphone and turn it into writing. Positive.
Well, there's an idea.
The memory doesn't go, does it?
No, the trouble is getting me hypnotized. I tried that once, but they couldn't put me under.
I could do that. I could do that with you.
You could do that?
Yeah, because my friend Oksana Buchanan, she can just see into all sorts of soul levels and often where we came from, and she's very specialized in removing the constraints. A lot of people, are here under duress rather than choice, and collecting together all the parts of the soul and uniting them. So I love the way she works. And she did a little course and just got us all to develop our own way of doing things. Right. So, hypnosis. And I had a lovely friend, and we went on who I hypnotized, as it were, just, put into that state. We went on a future journey into her mission, really. Her vision for what she is going to be doing in the future. So that was beautiful, and I found it worked quite well. So I probably could, because I have a different way from normal people. But it turns out, if you ever want to do that, I'd be up for that.
Excellent. We'll write that one down.
Yeah, exactly. Let's write it down. Let's record it now. So what I thought would be a beautiful opportunity to talk with you about is this idea of communication with all sorts of entities, beings, things, and the way that you and I will talk to our cats. And I'm sure you're like this with other animals. So there's animals, plants, crystals, minerals, the air, the water, the earth, the sun, the planets, perhaps. Would you like to talk a little bit about how you commune with animals? Because that would be a beautiful starting point.
That's probably not very good. It's actually probably not a very good starting point.
Okay, what would be the best? Well, out of all that choice, what would be your starting point? Would it be?
I'll let you know sort of how I actually work. If someone comes to have a reading with me, I will actually start by drawing their guide, okay? And then I'll close my eyes, and their guide will take me on a journey. Now, they will show me all sorts of things from their past lives, or their nana might come in, or where they're going, what their soul does at night. So while I'm giving the reading, I'm traveling with the guide, and I have my eyes closed. And I see a lot more than I hear. So sometimes I have to really try and figure out what they're actually trying to tell me or show me. But my hearing is getting better. It's one of the last things to develop, I think. So seeing is no problem, and going different dimensions, different planets, wherever, that's no problem. So that's how I actually read. So, yeah.
And do you record that verbally so that you've got a memory of it as you're going through it?
Not for me. I do suggest to the people who are having the reading that recording is really good, because there's a lot of information that comes through, and there's no way that I'm going to remember it. And in fact, by the time the reading's done and there's gone 2 days on, I've completely forgotten, because it's not for me. I channel. Yeah. So it's very good for them to record, or even take notes if they can't record. But recording is better, because there's just so much information that comes through. Yeah. So that's how I sort of work in the reading sort of aspect things. Yeah.
So I think you'd probably love to. I'll find a nice Oksana video and send it to you, because some of her work is really fascinating. And it's always interesting, isn't it, when you meet someone who is similarly potentialed, but perhaps different specialities. I find that fascinating.
So when you're on these journeys, and you just kind of alluded to the diversity of it, can you describe because you'll have some memories of some specific, exciting, strange, exotic things, I would say. Can you think of a few or a couple or one extraordinary essence you were communing with or experiencing? Because that would be interesting to feel.
Okay. Well, there's one that popped into my head just then when you were asking, and it was really interesting, because when I first, it was a reading that I first started out. I was doing them behind a shop in a little caravan, and this guy came in and he sat down, and I started the reading. And I thought, oh my God! I said to him, "You're not doing what you're meant to be doing, are you?" And he goes, "Well," and I said, "Did you just feel that?" And he said, "Yeah, I did." I said, "Yeah." So they've just given you a kick up the arse. And so during the reading that I went into, his little mate took me into a volcano, and we actually went through the volcano with all the feelings, and you could feel the volcano, you could feel the heat. It was really quite incredible, but that was just one little aspect of the whole reading. But that one just popped into my head. I don't know why. It was a volcano, and he got a boot up the bottom.
Well,
for not doing what he's doing.
Because you and I, in our pre-chat when we were talking 2 days ago, we were talking about talking with minerals and crystals, and to be able to be in the essence and presence of a volcano, of course, is not what our physical apparatus can normally do. So that's an example of this communication and being and energetic existence with something non-human. Did you feel that this essence talking with him was of the volcano?
It was, and he was part of. So you're going into a different dimension again, because you're entering someone else's, I don't know what you call it, being, psyche, soul. I'm not sure. You end up sort of mingling. I can't really explain it too well.
Yeah. Do you find that you have to do a deliberate clearing, or you just shed instantly when you've left the reading for somebody?
I just go into the reading. Is that what you mean? Just go into the reading?
So when you've done the reading, do you have to consciously sort of clear yourself to
absolutely. Absolutely. At the end, it's very important. It's like with the healing that I do too. It's very important that you close down. Very important, and very important that you ground. You can't just leave a healing open, and you can't just leave a reading open. You'd end up in all sorts of trouble. You have to close down, and you have to ground. Absolutely.
So do you find, I would say, let's talk about quantum entanglement in this term, in that there is this essence and your essence, and there is a merging temporarily. Yeah. However, there always seems to be an after effect ripple of some kind of a small change of some kind after that. Have you ever experienced that you could kind of put your finger on it?
No, not really. Not really, no.
No, that's just, I thought it would be an interesting area to look into because of this idea of the necessity to clear someone's energy. Can we actually completely do that or not? This sort of entanglement of energy is interesting to know about.
You do. You have to. You do. You have to close down and ground. Full stop. It's that simple. Close and ground.
And so the grounding, you would say, is to kind of get rid of any residue. Would you say that?
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't always explain that, so it's nice to just get. I like those points.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, I don't mean you. I just mean you'll read it. A lot of people will be interested in these experiences and think, and then I got to ground. What does that mean? I don't know. So it's nice to put words to it.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So my grounding is I will go in the bush.
Yeah.
I will go in the bush, and then clear and rejuvenate, especially because I've just got the bush just up there. So, and it really, really helps.
Do you do barefoot? Do you walk barefoot, or do you just it's like it's fine. The earth energy will come over my shoes, or how some people are really.
I just walk my gardens
through the latex. Is he going to get through those rubber soles or not?
Absolutely.
In my mind, there are some people who say you must only ground with barefoot on the grass. It's like, okay, the earth is pretty powerful. It's got energy that will come up your feet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, actually, talking about grounding, it's really interesting because for years I tried to ground. As people wrote in books, as people would say, which was bring the energy of the earth up. And, for years I couldn't do that. Okay. But for some reason, something happened. I actually can't remember what, but it clicked. And I thought, hang on a minute. Why don't I just do it the other way? And it works the other way. So my grounding is just bringing straight down and through instead of trying to bring the earth up, which I just couldn't do. And I couldn't figure out why I couldn't do it. So there's different ways of your grounding.
Yes. I had that experience in Berlin where it's just sand. So, the energy just kind of pours through instantly, but it kind of lit the fire in me. I got a lot of fire. And so I was consciously attempting that process. And it was a bit dangerous, actually, because I just had way too much sexual energy and it attracted a lot of not particularly nice beings. So, very often, though, in those New Age informational spheres, we get given the opposite information, don't we?
Absolutely right, you do. Yeah.
That's a good point to bring in. Okay, let's talk about our cats. My cat is hilarious. So she'll come to me whenever she deems that I need her energy, and we have talks, and her whole vocabulary is very extensive now. She has lots of tones of voice, and it's quite usual now for people to understand about animal communication. But we were talking about this, seeing spirit guides, you see animal guides, you've got your cat, you have other beings that you see. The normalcy of this, the benefit of it. Can you talk a little bit about this sort of the way it's just a normal tool for us to use if we can tap into it? If I took your cat away, I know you wouldn't be happy.
No, I wouldn't be happy. He's only 7 months. He's just a young'un.
But this separation of nature goes so deep, doesn't it? So that, the traditional nonsense of the woman with her cat is a witch. That's the Halloween picture.
Oh, that's so old.
Yeah, it's so old, but it still perpetuates to an extent. So we need to get the normalcy of communication with the levels of nature. That's what I really want to kind of bring in with you. I know you do that. I can feel it.
You mean not everyone does that?
Not everyone does that, or maybe they do, but they can't consciously acknowledge it, and they want to keep it hidden. And if the more of us keep it as a normal and integrate it, then this love for nature and the conversation between nature becomes so much richer and clearer, and we are no longer the harmers, we are only the curators and the nurturers. That's where I like to kind of pull out these conversations. I'll shut
There you
up.
go. You're better at that than I am.
Yeah, but I know you're really good at it. It's just I'm trying to find the way to get it out of you.
Trying. I'm trying to succeed.
Okay, then let's just jump a little more cosmic, because you let slip something. You said that you sometimes travel to planets and stars and things. I'd like to hear about that, because that's anything that can take us beyond our limiting, any kind of limiting programs is good for us, because we need to be free.
It is, absolutely. I think one of the things I do help people with when they do come to see me for their readings is to put it in layman's terms, when they go to sleep at night, what their soul does.
Mm.
I mean, you're resting your body, but there's a lot of people who don't even know what sort of work they're doing in that particular time. And I can shed light on that. I mean, I can see that. I see what they do. I see them go out, and I see them help the planet, and I see them take children by their hands that have been blown up, and they're like stunned. And they've got them by their hands, and they take them to a safe place. I see all that. I see the people. I see the souls that help on other planets, not only this planet. So I get to see all that and experience all that with or without the people, with or without readings.
So you, when you're connecting to somebody for a reading for that purpose, then it's almost like that prophetic visionary dreaming that you got again. You get a full-blown movie screen, I suspect, within.
Not quite a full-blown movie. Sometimes it's quite sometimes it's quite misty, or sometimes it's very clear. It depends on who I'm working with. Yeah.
And sometimes you see it anyway, is what you're meaning? When you're just going into a quiet meditative state, you kind of find yourself looking at what's happening. Is that what you said? Because you said sometimes.
Yeah. I don't even have to. I mean, I can do it now with you. I mean, I don't have to sit there and go and go into a meditative state. It's just like that, bam, and away we go. Yeah. So I'm starting to go somewhere now, but so I have to ground myself.
I know. I'm just swaying around, but that's that's half the fun, isn't it? I've got this idea of right now, like I just saw let the back of your heart really open, like a beam, and I just felt like the same with mine. It's like.
Oh yeah, okay, okay, so that's gone. Yeah, okay, yeah.
So let's just take that and feel it, because what benefit is this? Let's explore this. What is the beauty and the gift and the benefit of bringing that information for a specific person?
I think basically is to help people, isn't it? Just to let people know. I mean, a lot of people don't have our gifts, your gifts or my gifts, and I think if they're looking for something, like people like you and I can help them on their journey. It's not that they're not awake. Some of them. The information that comes through, or the places that you get to travel, not everyone can handle that. Not everyone can do different types of work as in this sort of area. It would just send them insane, basically.
Yeah, it's probably the genetic structure they've got. It's like that's the framework, isn't it? So some cases can go beyond or not.
Yeah. So I suppose it's just basically helping people. You have a gift, and this is what I can offer. And there's always
this helping people, because we know it does. But the thing is, we've got this world that says this is ego and this is not, and this is vanity and this is not, and then we have this enormous tearing at the human soul that makes us worthless at every kind of level from the structures that we're living in. So for me, it feels like whenever I get a piece of information like that, like from you, that beautiful reading you gave me, it's like a repair. It's not, I'm not puffing up an ego. I'm never going to have a puffed up ego. It's more like, oh, how beautiful, I found some more love within me. That's the gift, I think. It's like the acknowledgement of what we actually are, because it's been so hidden from us.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely correct. Yeah. There's a lot of there's been a lot of knowledge quashed and gotten rid of. But you know what? Whatever is written or whatever is said or whatever is done, it leaves an imprint. Doesn't matter what it is, it leaves an imprint. Okay, take one example. When was it? Was it the Roman times or Greek times? Roman times. There was a whole lot of burning of the books. Actually, there's been several along the period of time, hasn't there? Piles of books being burnt in that. All of those books, all of those words that have been written are still there because it's left an imprint. Hey, yeah. So there's always that imprint. So I think you can connect into that.
Yeah,
that's what I believe.
Yeah, I use, if I want to find information, I go and collect all my parts of my soul, just by my intent. It's just the intention, isn't it? And then I use this massive big leather book that's about this big, it's about this thick. And I count down from 3 to 0, 5 to 0, and I say that I will open the page, and then I can just start reading from it. So that's my way of kind of bundling that into a form that we can access. Right. Because we have to, I kind of believe that we're allowed to, it's a potential, and all of that information has been hidden. Oh,
yeah. We're such powerful, we're very powerful. The human form, the human person, the human soul is very, very powerful. And of course, people back in the day and even now, they still want to control us in various different forms and ways to stop us accessing all the knowledge. So it's keeping the people down once again, but I don't want to talk about that.
But what I'd like to touch on that though, because what you just did for me the other night, what is it, 2 days ago now? And I was suffering all these different hits, sort of like a crazy tennis rally, it's like, just all the time, just having to clear and quiet and get back to peace, and then again, And what you did for me was bring it. It was like you got from a different level that I wasn't allowing myself access to, another wave of grace in, which brought me to that place of peace again, which was just delicious to be. That's an important thing, because you had no restrictions in your mind about my situation. You were able to float beyond and above, let's just use that term, any restriction level. And this is a key that I want humanity to understand, because of so many levels and they're trying to push us down even more. So this idea that no, that's it may look real. Can you?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I absolutely understand what you're saying. Absolutely. I can go anywhere, be anything, do anything.
Yeah.
And this is what the human can do.
Yeah.
I mean, we're that powerful. But a lot of people don't even believe that. They don't even have that belief.
I love the Jesus miracles we have of, raising Lazarus and various different miracles. And he says, and you too will be able to do this. Well, in a different wording, obviously. Wasn't speaking English. But so some people know that and profess that and speak and say, yes, he was a beautiful example of how we can enable these human gifts, the divine template human gift to be operating in. And other people say, oh no, we can only do it through him. It's like, wow, what a burden on him. It's fascinating, another level again of restrictive put into our mind, whereas it's beautiful to keep talking about this ability to go beyond and the freedom. So in a week, let's just say your average week, I don't know if you have any average weeks, but let's just say you have an average week, right? How much do you travel above and beyond our physical realm?
Just to demonstrate.
Sorry, what was the question?
So in your average week, how much do you travel above and beyond our normal physical realm? Every day, 5 times a day?
I have no idea. And I'll tell you why, because half the time,
you don't remember, do you? You're sort of like, oh.
I wouldn't have the faintest idea. I wouldn't know. Because as I said before, sometimes I don't even know I'm off doing something. And part of me is. Although it's divinely guided, you know. I mean, it's actually really hard to explain. We can go anywhere you want. Not physically, well, physically, but the different dimensions and the different levels and the different, we can go anywhere. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. Although we don't have a human body.
We don't need to explain, because I can feel the absolute truth resonance of what you're saying. You know, there's just not a single iota of any doubt in me. I know that. And so here I am, and there you are. And then people will watch this, and it's like, oh, maybe.
I know it's really difficult.
It doesn't need words. It doesn't, because it just needs this knowing. The knowing is an extraordinary radiation, isn't it? I mean, the frequency of knowing is just.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very hard to explain. I don't have big words. I don't know. I just do what I do.
Yeah, but this is why you're so clear and so beautiful, because, you know, you don't have all this construct. And that's the irony, that so much of the outside world has got all these kind of, oh, we must do this ceremony, and we must say this and this and this. And then you have to go and learn it at some, I want to swear, but I'm not going to, at some club, some university, some course. It's like, no, come on, baby, you're a soul, you know, you can find your way.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Was
it always fun, Yvette? Was it always this fun for you? Or was it quite tricky sometimes?
Oh, God, no. On my spiritual journey? Hell no. No. I think because I didn't have, you know, I as I was growing up, I remember when I was about 21, I was out flatting with quite a few people, and one particular time a friend I hadn't seen for a long time came to visit, and we were sitting on the couch. I was opposite her, and I thought, oh my God, I've just seen your past life. Her whole shape just turned, and I thought, good God, what's this? And so I sort of knew what was happening, but on the other hand, I sort of couldn't handle it terribly well. So, no, I certainly haven't had a smooth ride, that's for sure. It's been quite difficult at times. It really has.
Did you find that when you got to that place of, you know, so bizarre, you thought you were kind of going loony, and then calmed down, that someone with information came towards you? Did you find that you found those points of witness in the world, or did you always only have to go to the spiritual dimensions to find your evidence and your truth and your knowing?
I had to deal with it by myself for quite a long time, probably up until the age of 10, 20, maybe 15, I'd say 15 years ago, when I actually started at a job, and I met a lady who I became great friends with, been friends for many years now, and her and I would get together. She is what you call the knowing. She has the knowing. Like I have clairvoyance, and someone else would have clairaudience or whatever. She has the knowing, so she has everything all rolled in one. And we would get together and we would practice. And I would say to her, I remember I said to her one day, I was automatically drawing, and I said, I've got all these people come through. It's like, what do they want? I had no idea. So I'm sitting there just at my writing desk, and all these people are coming through and doing these drawings. And she said, oh, they want their stories told. And I said, what? What? It's like, And because I'm a little hard of hearing in the present as well as the spiritual, well, that is getting a bit better. I said, well, you're going to help. So we got together and we started a book called Sleepless in Spirit. And we got together and we did a lot of, she would bring the person through and talk to them where I would record, and then I would take that information home, then I would sift through it, then write it up, then I'd type it up. So it's all I've got 2 books. There's Sleepless in Spirit, there's Restless Soul, there's 2 after that, and there's a prophecy one coming. I just haven't even started that one. It's a time thing. So meeting Justine helped me immensely. But from the age of 16 till whatever that age was, which is a huge gap, I had to kind of stumble along and just bumble about and fall in potholes and try and keep my sanity and learn as much as I can. Another interesting thing, though, I picked up a book one day. I did read a lot back in the day, The Celestine Prophecy.
Yeah.
Now, I read through that book and there was a specific chapter or a specific line, and then all of a sudden it just went click. And it's like, whoa. And then everything changed from that point on. But getting back to Justine, her and I got together quite a few times, and in fact we did healings together as well, so she helped me along that way as well. I suppose she was a bit of a mentor for me. So yeah, there was a huge big gap where I had to bumble about by myself.
And I bet, did you find when you were working with her that all of those strange experiences in that previous time kind of touched base? It's like, oh, that makes sense, and now I understand why that happened. Did you find they were kind of dropping into place?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So it just went, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's almost like you actually had to have that library of experience first, and then.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You had to have that experience, and I realized that through the time, the passage of time, and what they were showing me, like I would wake up at night thinking, oh my God, there was a landslide, and I was helping these people go through, take them through up through the light. So I went through a month of doing that, and then, check the papers, and like, sure enough, there was a landslide so-and-so. So I had a month of that, and then there'd be another month of whatever, all these different experiences. And then it all sort of, panned out, and sort of like, there you are now.
That's interesting, isn't it? As a thesis. I mean, you could find that in the Celestine Prophecies too. It says that this organization, and why not, on these other levels, is happening very much that your spirit self, soulful, would say, okay, we've got, we really want these skills, so let's do this, this, and this. That there literally is a kind of career mapping.
It is actually, yeah, it is. Yeah, quite true. It's quite fascinating, actually.
So where are you going from here? Any inklings? Because I'm sure, we have an interesting lifestyle right now in the world, don't we? Do you ever get this sense of possible futures coming through you?
Oh, that's a question. I've never really delved into that, to be honest. I've never really looked at the future of mankind or Earth. I've never actually done that. I've never actually sat down and thought, well, what possible future can we have? No, I've never done that. Yeah, well, that's interesting.
Who knows what happens tonight? Beware.
The cat just had this whole conversation with me. She's like, well, really, I want to go outside. No, I want some food. No, I actually just want your attention.
Let's talk about this idea of the seen and the unseen and the levels of perception. So for some people, a cat is just something to stroke. For other people, it's a whole soul, a person integrated in what is going on. In the same way, you can sit next to your friend on a sofa and suddenly see a past life, a past dimension. You can suddenly see into the past. So this idea of all of these realities, what kind of experiences could you tell about this, about the existence of these other realities?
what my experience.
Yeah.
Oh, where to start?
Oh,
And even how to explain it so people would understand. I mean, well, that's half the challenge, isn't it?
like that moment on the sofa, there you were with her then in that moment
Yeah,
of time and in the past. So that was two somehow merging.
yeah.
I'm sure there are lots of other ways because for me, there seems to be past, present, future, and parallel.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I guess I hadn't really thought about it. I mean, I just go. Huh.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what to say.
You're so untethered. You just flow.
It's like, yeah.
No wonder I was talking to you about those crazy birds that bomb in the road, because that's you. It's just like, hey, let's just fly on these streams. So a thing I loved to do with my beloved was that because we couldn't talk because of the security thing, so we would have this WhatsApp conversation, and suddenly I would see us, and we were both because I call him a superhero because he actually is. So we had these superhero capes on, and we were kind of flying around, and I hadn't done that before, flown around. I always thought it'd be really cool to kind of fly, and suddenly we were kind of flying around, I don't know, above the earth and places.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to give yourself permission to just do something completely different in a different dimension, a different reality, and then it becomes
Absolutely. One thing comes to mind, and it really sort of did blow my mind, was one night. I was quite close to this person at this particular point in time. Not that they were together or anything, but what happened was that I remember, like, it wasn't even a dream. You know what a dream is. This was not even a dream. Anyway, I was in the ethers, and this other person was in the ethers, and we were colors. No, we were both different colors, yeah, and we were intermingling. That was like, whoa, that was amazing. I mean, that was really quite cool. I mean,
That's where I know you from. That's where I know you from, because I'm from that dimension, just color,
you can do
sound.
that too.
That's my
Yeah,
origin.
you just mingle, and it's just incredible. You know, it's quite hard to explain. I've had so many different experiences and so many different levels. Um, and shape shifting is one of them. You know,
Let's talk about that.
so shape shifting. Yeah, I don't tell a lot of people, and I possibly shouldn't have said it, but the Indians, they did shape shifting. In different cultures, you've got your shaman, and they shapeshift. And yeah, so you can go into anyone, you can become anyone, you can be a cat, you are that cat, you are that rock, you are that statue, you are that person. So there's that intermingling again. That's like you are one, and I mean that's it. You are one. And it took me a long time to get my head around that, to actually accept that we are all one. I actually didn't want to accept that. I wanted to be on planet Earth to experience the separateness, to be them.
But I think it's, to me, whenever I hear that phrase said, I know there's like a mistruth added to it because of the way we have been conditioned in our culture. So when I hear we are one, from that kind of new age set, it's like we're all the same. And it's like, no, we are one in the root of us. In the root of us, we're all one. Yes, in the root of us, we're all one. I want to always just add that, because the danger I've found is this sort of, and then this kind of loss of skill, particularity, the diversity of creation that we must maintain. We need to hold that, this expansion of creation. And if we do this kind of hive mind thing, which is a very easily controllable thing, that I think we're programmed into accepting with that sentence. And yet the truth of we are one is something, it's like the polar opposite of it. It's like, yes, at the core, we're all one. And therefore I can move from what I am into being a tree, come back to what I am. I can move into going through a wall, come back, or be in the beetle. But this point of, it's like, instead of just dissolving, something different. I think that's important because of the way we keep getting hoodwinked with another control mechanism.
Absolutely, absolutely. Me seen as all one is just all these tiny particles. Everything's a tiny little particle. That's it. That's the way, as I said, it took me a long time to accept or even get my head around that we are one. But as I look at it now, and the age I am now, and the things that I've done and seen, I put it down to, if you put lots of little dots on a bit of paper, all those little particles, we are all one. We can't not be. We cannot be. In the human mind, and you go, we're all one. It's like, nah, I don't like him. I'm not part of him. But you know what? We are all one. And it's a mess. It's a mess.
I have an uncle who, and his son specialised in this, but the uncle came to this. He was a brilliant cranial osteopath in Australia. And he was looking with his son, who's now a really good advanced physicist, at the space between everything. So there's more space than there is solid. So that's what because of course we know ultimately we're not atoms, we're frequency, we're wavelength. So this idea of, if this is my hand and this is someone else's hand, or this is a wall and this is my hand, theoretically this can easily pass through because the space passes through the space. That's what we're talking with here, isn't it? It's this understanding of what we actually are, rather than fixed hard thing. We are actually
exactly. Yeah. And I mean, if you look at the different particles, as you said, a tree, okay, that's quite a solid particle. We're fairly solid particles as well, or a floor or something. Compare that to water, or compare it to, I don't know, a mattress or something. The different particles form the different masses, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But you can go anywhere. Humans can do anything and go anywhere. We can.
I've had, just in the last 3 months, I keep on getting this sense of just being kind of moved sideways.
Right.
Like that, as though the where I was with my full gamut of particle just moved there and then came back here, or like a shift of dimension, and I'm associating it with plasma activity from the sun, just because of powerful energy bursts. I don't know whether you have any response to that, if there's anything you've observed with that, because it seems to fit into that.
Yeah. I actually went through I call it a splitting stage, and I wasn't quite sure what was happening. I was at one stage I'd be lying down, and then I was sort of semi-awake, and I was traveling in a different. It's even really hard to explain, but I was actually splitting my whole being. So I was lying down, I was in another space doing whatever, then I'd split again, then I was in another space, then I'd split again, then I came back. And thankfully I met another very good friend of mine now, who actually realized what was happening. And she actually grabbed me and just pulled me back and actually stabilized me. To this day, I wasn't even sure what was happening. All I know is that I was splitting. Yeah. And so it's a very, very powerful lady. She said to me, I've never met anything like it. She said she could see me, and she said, absolutely splitting that way. but she's never seen me. She's seen people split, but not the way that I was splitting.
Well, you know, when I saw you just the 2 nights ago, and I saw that like this sort of tunnel going behind you.
Yeah.
So yes, that obviously that is facilitating your ability to move and to shift and to travel, probably to take people with you.
Yeah. So we can time travel.
Well, I did this thing recently and I really loved it. So to go into a past, to speak with a soul and say, okay, soul, a friend or someone I wanted to help with, and say, okay, give me a moment. Let's go there in your past. And then we just change a tiny, tiny thing just by bringing in more divine essence. And then you watch it play out with this new love force energy that's in the room then, and certain things get said. So I did that with 3 different examples. It took about an hour. And I think it was 40 minutes later, I saw the effect of what I'd done, because I was watching him on a show talk about that point, and that point that I touched by going back and that's a fascinating thing, because I thought, let's do it in a small way, just one small instant. Like one of them was grazing, literally him grazing a knee as a child, and being the old system was ignored by the father, and the new one there was some interest and some emotional contact. And I thought that was amazingly exciting, just this idea.
Yeah.
What have you done on that? Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's like, I love it. It's like you change the trajectory just for teeny little tiny little things.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know.
We could change the whole timeline of the planet that way.
We could.
I think that's what we are, in fact. I think that's what we are doing, because it's like, it feels like to me there's this sort of seesaw going on. And that's what I'm feeling. It's like we go this way and then it's like, no, you're not going that way. And we get kind of pulled back, and then we have to decide, no, we are going this way. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
And this, what I love so much about it though, is that if we're connected into infinity and whatever is trying to pull us back ain't, then who's going to ultimately move forward?
The light workers.
Yeah, it's a very nice thing to know, isn't it? There's always
Absolutely. I mean, I think with this planet, I love this planet. Absolutely love Earth. There's absolutely nothing out there like it, I tell you. Absolutely nothing. This is just everything out there is a one-off, really. I mean, you're a one-off, I'm a one-off, but the planet, there's nothing like it out there. It's just incredible. I love the planet. Absolutely love it. All the beings on it, all the elementals, I could go on and on and on and on. It's just, it's a thriving planet. It's absolutely an amazing planet.
And layers, as you were saying, I was just feeling the richness, because there's stuff we can see in nature, and then there's all this layer, and just, oh my God.
I know. It's incredible. It's just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, I just got this image. So I drew a picture, I might send it to you, where the parts of the earth energy are kind of bubbling through, that overlay. And what I suddenly got as you were speaking was like, right, well, let's just call in those areas, let's call all the elementals together, and let's all get together and just go, these kind of explosive moments all over the place. We could like create a moment where it's like, okay, on Tuesday, the 11th of November, we're going to do this. And then it's just like, sorry, game's over now. You can't put the lid back on anymore. But I like that idea so much. Starting to work with loads of different elementals.
Yes. I love working with the elementals. They're really cool. Do you know, I brought this elemental through. Oh, I'll just tell you this while we were talking there. You have had a past life in Atlantis, haven't you?
I've been here 7 times before, so
Atlantean time. It just went to Atlantean time.
Yeah, white marble pyramids and some Lyrans walking around with lion heads.
Yeah. What was I talking about? Oh God, that's just gone.
Elementals. You had an amazing experience with them.
Elementals, that's right. Yes, well done. Yes, one of the elementals I brought through. It's I had to do three. I had to do four actually. Four of them. I brought him through, and I said to my friend, "Oh my God, he looks like he's been poisoned. Ugh, it feels like really yuck. Felt really awful." And she goes, "Oh yeah, no, yeah, he's been poisoned. But not only that, he's been cut off from his family, his rest of his elemental where he's meant to be." And I said, "Oh my God, look, we're going to help him." Because I wasn't he was poisoned. He was very poisoned.
Just getting barbed wire around him in a horrible color, and it's just like, oh, it's still horrible.
Yeah, mucky, horrible green color. So I had to draw him and get him through the stages and get him back to where he should be. So with the books that we were doing, that's the other thing that's happening, is that if they're not in the right place, we can help them get to the right place. It's not just bringing them through and then telling their story.
Well, let's talk about that, how we do that.
We were doing a session, and Justine goes, "I'll just go to the loo." Yep, no worries. So I'm sitting there, and it's like scribbling away. I thought, oh my goodness, who have we got here? And it was an astronaut. That's all that was showing, was the astronaut. You didn't see the face or anything. You just saw the helmet. And I was like, oh my gosh. And we started talking. And it was one of the ladies, Sally, I think her name was. It was the big accident. Oh my gosh. One of the earlier ones. Was it Challenger? One of them that blew up.
Oh, yes, it blew up.
Yeah, she was one of the teachers. She was a teacher in life, and she went up and I think it was Challenger. Anyway, that blew up. Anyway, she'd come down, and I said, "Oh my gosh!" So we had a chat, and like she was just completely in limbo because of the whatever happened. We call it an explosion because I think it did explode, didn't it? If I remember correctly.
We were told it exploded. Yeah.
Yeah. So it went that quick like that. She was just left in limbo. So Justine and I had to direct her and try and get her to where she should be, which we did that. So there is a lot of helping and redirecting with the people that do come through too, because sometimes they're taken quite quickly, and they're just in limbo. She was one of them. She was the one left in limbo. Another chap, he came through 1950s. He was a motorbike rider, and he was oh my God, he had the leather jacket and everything. He goes, "Oh, I was the man." And then he goes, "You know what, I was out on my bike." He was a mechanic actually. He was out on his bike, and he goes, God, he was funny. He goes, and then bang, just like that, appeared a tree, and it's like, I go, oh, okay. He hit the tree, and it's like bang. And we had a little chat to him, and I said, "Are you okay? Do you need any help?" And he goes, No, I know where I am. I was grand. She used to do all this sort of stuff. And I'm way cool. He was a hard case, yeah. And then you get the other ones. There was another one that I brought through that I don't get many of these, but he had to be in the book, and rightly so. He came through, and it ended up he did not so nice things. That's what I'm going to say. He did not so nice things when he was on the planet. Now he had to, I don't know whether punishment is the right word, but he had to try and correct what he had done wrong. Okay. And he said, it's awfully hard. His mission, if you want to use a word, was to stop people doing exactly what he was doing. Yeah. And it was extremely hard for him, because you've got this spirit, this soul coming down to try and reason with this person here who was doing not so nice things. And he said 1 out of 20, 30, he might get through to. So he was on a very extremely hard mission, and that was what he had to do to right what he had done wrong here. That was one thing. So, of course, he had to be in the book. You can't have all happy fairy ending things. You have to have you got to take the good with the bad, and that is with planet Earth, isn't it? I mean, you've got the good, the bad, you've got the white, the
Sometimes we
black.
don't know whether it's good or bad. Like I had an experience when I was 8, 9. I was unable to walk. My legs just gave away for 3, 4 months. And suddenly I was lying on the bed and simultaneously in the corner of my room being strangled, I thought, by this very large being. My father asked to see it later because I ran, when I somehow got to the bedroom, somehow I crawled or whatever it was, I don't know, got to my parents. And my father then asked to see this being. He saw big hairy feet and said, "That's enough, no thank you." And we moved house soon after that. But a psychic recently said, a friend of mine, no, this creature was actually trying to remove blockages that were in your throat. So the interpretation was strangulation in the corner of my room while watching my body on the bed. But actually the actual was trying to help me remove an energetic blockage. Now, that's a fascinating thing in itself, isn't it? This kind of quandary of ignorance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you trust? Because you're drawing, you're allowing everything through. There's lots of dynamic movement going on with these different people, beings that you're working with, and you've got to just let go and you just trust. It's just it's a decision, or do you do something?
I guess it's kind of like people say automatic writing. I suppose it's a bit like that, automatic drawing. I'll tune into a person. This is really interesting. I did a reading for a lady, with the group that I started up. One of the ones I offer is a guide drawing with a written reading next to it. Now, and all the time, this is absolutely fascinating. Well, for me it is anyway. And all the time that I've done readings, I have done so many drawings of people or guides that have come through. This is the first time ever, I'll show you. I don't think she'll mind. Can you see that?
Oh, yes. He looks familiar. Yeah. We know him, don't we?
It's Jesus.
Yeah.
That's Jesus coming through. It's like, oh my God, that's a first. Hey, welcome. Anyway, so I was quite excited about that. I mean, I have worked with him before, and I know.
Well, I had him once, but I don't think it was him. So I had this boyfriend, he was like 22 years older than me. I should never have been with him, but, I was with him. And he said, "Hey, do you want to take ecstasy?" And I said, "Well, I think I'm probably far too sensitive to take any drugs. But okay, if you say it's really pure and it will be okay, I'll take a little half one." So I drank loads of water beforehand to kind of get my liver sorted. Took this half one, and it was amazing. I could experience how I was just molecules able to pass through anything. I was completely in that state.
Oh, wow, really?
So what you were describing, yeah. So I had that, which was fascinating. But the next morning, all the endorphins must have been shaken out of the system, of course. So then you go into a different place. And I had a very strange 3 days after in a kind of paranoid state. But it wasn't, because it was just I was perceiving reality in a very different way. So that first morning, Jesus stood next to my bed and said, "You've messed up the matrix." But I knew it wasn't Jesus later on. It wasn't. It was someone pretending to be Jesus.
Right.
And then I had another experience on that day where I suddenly realized that this same man was trying to kill me, and I had to get away from him. And I instantly got away from him. Wandered through the streets of Berlin at night. Went to a friend I knew was good. Went to a baker early in the morning and got chocolate because I knew I needed chocolate. I was just in this weird state. So, terrible thing to do. Obviously, I should never have taken the drug. But interesting experience. That's really the only time I've ever taken a drug. But it gave me these weird insights into different things. But there was Jesus as a thought form, but it wasn't him. I've experienced the love of the being. It's fascinating the way things can camouflage themselves as a thought form.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes. They're quite fascinating.
I mean, God, there's so much. I love this research being human, isn't it? Because it's endless.
Yes.
There's a lot to find out, isn't there?
Oh, there is. It's a whole universe full.
So when are you going to publish your books? What does that look like?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The world's not
that's
quite ready
another
for
thing.
those publishers, but we're getting our material ready because soon, next year, the blossoming is coming.
Okay, yeah. Every now and again I pull them out, and I think, oh, I must get onto that. Yeah, it's not I suppose it's a bit of a challenge. The first thing that I did get done, which I needed to get done, was these ones, which I now need to look at again. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Oh, but wait, there's more. There we go. And I did that one. Can you see that one? Here we go. Okay. And there's my Monica, and there you go. Yeah. The native source. Okay, yeah. So I manage, and these little books, and there's so many that are there. There's also board games. There's also cards, that I've got together. These books were started in 1996. What are we in now? 2024. Well done, Yvette.
No, but it wasn't possible, was it? It wasn't possible to bring this information. My Zog radio show was like 2012, but I started having information, back in the 90s. And then I produced my books self-published, and eventually next year I think they'll be able to be published. I've got to get you connected with Sherry Divband, who's in the States, who creates some little books like that for children. Because we need a publishing house that will be able to do it, and there will be money available for that. It's the new ethos, the new values, the new humanity needs its new information and books and learning material. So, yeah.
Yeah. So when is that due next? I'm not 100% sure. Then the next stage that I have to do is to get the information downloaded onto a USB stick. Yeah. And then before that I've got to do the cover. I've got to do the cover and then get it downloaded and then get it printed. Yeah. I mean, it's not it's a process.
There may be helpers, because remember that there are, for example, I have a cousin in Australia and she's a very brilliant editor. I think some of the books she's editing are not beautiful, because the publishing houses are not. They're designed to crush, suppress the human spirit, aren't they? That's where they're successful. But at some point when the shift happens, that we're moving towards that tipping point, those people who are really good at their job will be able to work for the new industries, and there will be money because we'll need the new uplifted humanity. So projects like yourself and my, I've got all these books that I've written, but I still do really need an editor and a proofreader. It's not really my job.
Yeah.
We need these people to work with us so that we can bring this information out, and I'm positive it's going to be there. In fact, I'm very excited about working with the elementals to do this big boom bang. We could do something for the 5th of November. Aim for that day. See who we can enroll.
Probably half my problem. Anyway, I do have quite a few things on the go, but they all are coming together.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that there you are in New Zealand, so far away from where I am geographically, but not at all on the energy level.
Yeah.
And, I just, thank God, discovered you just so recently, really. And there'll be others like us, won't there? We're kind of spread around this place, and we're all kind of coming, bubbling up, and suddenly it's going to go,
Yep, absolutely. Yes.
Thank you for what exciting.
You're welcome. I'm just going to show you this before you go. Can you see this?
Yeah, I know. I saw that on your. This is where we're moving.
Okay.
Where we're moving into, spinning into that realm.
I did a painting. It seems to sell quite well. I did a paint thing of a lot of my canvases are recycled. Okay, so I'll paint over someone else's. About five, yeah, would have been five, about that big. They were all separate. Now I did this painting, and I stepped back and looked at it. I thought, oh my God, there's a lot of water on the earth. And what's happened recently? That, oh my God, there's a lot of water on the earth. And I'm going, oh my God, did I just prophesize that in the painting? Going, oh, someone bought it actually, and they put it up in their living room. It looks really nice, actually, I must say.
Well, this thing of shamanic drawing is so much more powerful than we realise. I've used it to resculpt my body. I will draw doodles and then find out later what I've drawn. You know, I had this thing with a cap on my head, an AI-induced thing, and I realised that I'd drawn it 3 months before the session I had. You know, so we have this ability through the drawing to shape and shift because of the ideas permeating into reality from that place we're in when we draw, when we receive the drawing. That's such a neutral but elevated space. And the more of us that understand that, that's what a child does when they draw, that's what we do when we're in that space. And to use that, it's big and far more powerful, I think, that we're giving ever justice to.
Absolutely. I'm amazed at some of the paintings that come out of me.
It's gonna hot up. I cannot wait to see all of the new ones. I can't wait to see all the new ones, Yvette.
Yeah. I should take a few photos of them, eh?
Yeah.
I've done a couple of I've done a couple of reels and put some music to them. I think one got about, oh God, what was it? I don't know, 1 million views or something, whatever it was, 0.6 or something. I don't know, whatever it was.
Wow.
Yeah, whatever it was. I don't know. I think it went to America. But I mean, hey.
Yeah. We'll share them because
I enjoyed doing it. So
yeah,
powerful tool. And if we want to shift at things, you know, it's not nice being stuck or going one way and having to come back again. Maybe it's quite good for, you know, but it's much more fun to just kind of go where you want to go, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so let's just do that now. Let's just move to where we want to be. Smooth out, get out our sandpaper and just smooth away a little bit, and let's do some drawings. And I cannot, will you talk to me again in the future and do another one, because I know people would love to hear more, and it's
just beautiful.
absolutely.
And God, there's endless topics, we could go anywhere, so maybe it's fun just to let it evolve like that.
Yes.
Do you want to say anything before we go?
Say what?
Coming through you'd like to share?
No, not really. Oh, I should one. Okay, let's. Here we go.
Oh yes, choose a card. That's true. Oh look.
Here you go. Cleansing waters. Can you see that one? Is that, there we go.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. You like that? There you go.
Yeah.
I think your last words are your joy. Look at that bubble of just pure joy. With this vessel for the flow through of eternal energy, life force, it's just delicious, and that just goes, just washes everything out, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
Gets rid of everything out of the corners. Oh, Yvette, you're such a joy. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you.
I'll stay up any night for you.
Oh, well, anytime you want to have another yak, well, I'll give it a shot.
Okay, I will love that. Okay. Wow.
And
most amazing day. Have a most amazing day.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to go and have some lunch now, I think.
Yeah, it tastes good.
All right. Okay. Nice talking to you.
Yeah. Bye-bye. See you
soon.
All
right.
Yeah.
Okay.